Good evening, everybody. We're going to call this 81st regular session to order. If you don't mind, please rise as you are able for the invocation by Councilmember Nye, followed by the pledge to the flag.
O Lord, as Thanksgiving approaches, I think of all the things I have to be thankful for. The right to still have prayer, the love of family and friends, a warm house, food to eat, clothes to wear. I am so thankful for your blessings. I am thankful that I am in a position to help those in my community, and thankful that we still live in a free country and are not facing the many problems other countries are now facing. I would also like to pray for and thank all of the veterans who helped to keep our country free and those who are now serving in these troubled times. Please continue to bless us despite our being unworthy of your love. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a few announcements. The rules of procedure we're operating under were adopted on September 24th, 2013. The use of cell phones during meetings is restricted. All correspondence for distribution to elected officials should be provided to the city clerk and should include a copy for the clerk for inclusion in the official record. And just to review our meeting schedule for December, we have a work session on Tuesday the 1st and Tuesday the 8th at 4 p.m. And then a regular session will be on the 15th at 7 p.m. No meeting on Tuesday the 22nd or the 29th. With that, we do have guests here for Small Business Saturday, and to receive that proclamation, we have our Economic Development and Community and Economic Development Director, Jill Frick. Hi, Jill.
Hello.
Thank you for accepting this certificate on behalf of all the small businesses here in Hagerstown. This is a proclamation for Small Business Saturday, which is this Saturday, November 28th, 2015. Whereas the City of Hagerstown believes that small businesses are the backbone of our local economy, generating jobs and improving the quality of life for our citizens. And whereas the City of Hagerstown supports the efforts of local businesses and recognizes the critical role they play in our community to create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our neighborhoods. And whereas Small Business Saturday is a nationwide campaign to cultivate business for merchants of small businesses on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And whereas Small Business Saturday will stimulate economic growth locally for merchants by following the tradition of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, two of the busiest shopping days of the year. And whereas residents of our community and communities across the country are being asked to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. Now therefore, with the support of the City Council, I, David Geisberts, the Mayor of the City of Hagerstown, do hereby recognize Saturday, November 28th, 2015 as Small Business Saturday and encourage all residents to recognize and support small businesses within our community by shopping at these establishments on the Saturday following Thanksgiving and throughout the year. Thank you very much, Jill. Would you like to say a few words about what's happening?
Sure. And on Saturday, residents or people from outside the area may shop at city businesses, making a purchase of $20 or more, and then turning their receipt into us. We're going to be doing a drawing with city center dollars as a way of thanking people for shopping and supporting small businesses in the city.
Great. Thank you for your continued efforts.
Yes. Good seeing you.
Kept hearing that. You good? You get it? You got it? Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we have citizen comments. Has anyone signed up for citizen comments? Would anyone like to speak who did not sign up for citizen comments? Yes, sir.
It's about my business.
Please come to the podium. Go ahead and state your name and address for the record, please.
Michael Byers, 152 North Burhans Boulevard, Hagerstown, Maryland. We own Byers Stop and Go. I'm not here to complain. Just really, I'm looking for advice, help, because of the things, the stuff we've been experiencing at our place of business. We've received a couple letters from the city of Hagerstown about some complaints. And I'm just very concerned and, want to see what we can do to try to, improve things. If there's something we're doing wrong, I would like to know what that is so that we can correct it. We're calling the police a lot.
Well, just to respond, I'm not aware of the letters, so I'm thinking what we can do is if you'll leave your contact information with the clerk, we'll set up a meeting with city staff and you and talk about any issues you want.
That'd be great.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Feel free to contact any of us also.
Yeah.
Again, this is staff generated, and that's not to say anything bad about staff, it's just when you come and talk to us about that, that's how we find out about it.
They don't copy us on every single
Right.
letter they
So
send.
we don't-
We don't know about it.
And you got the best snowballs in town, so we gotta make sure there's no problems there.
Okay.
And you're Jeremy's dad.
Yes.
Jeremy, I haven't seen, so usually Jeremy gives me a,
And this is Dustin. This is
okay,
our
that's what I
oldest son.
thought. I kind of put it together then,
Well.
yeah.
I'm Dustin Byers. I sit on the council in Williamsport. I'm also the food service manager at my father's store. So yeah, we're definitely concerned about the situation.
Yeah,
We'd
we
love to
are.
be a part of this.
Well, you're good neighbors.
Great.
You're a good business, you've been here forever.
We'd like
We
to stick
need
around.
We
Yeah.
appreciate your small
Yeah.
business.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in and let us know.
Okay.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
And don't forget to let our clerk have your contact information.
And I'd like to
Okay.
thank Jill to help you right there.
Any other citizen comments? All right, on to city administrator comments.
I just want to wish everybody and their families a very happy Thanksgiving on this holiday week. And just a reminder for our citizens, the trash collection, it will be one day later if you have a Wednesday or Thursday set out. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll have council comments. I'll start on my right with Councilmember Alshire. We'll go across.
I just have one related to the BMX track activity. Had some folks inquire as to where we're at with the lights that they had proposed to put up. And then the other was an issue they had where some local youth were throwing rocks through the fence at the participants. So I just wanted to make staff aware of those two items to follow up on.
All right, thanks. Councilmember Brubaker.
Yes, along with Councilmember Nye, I attended the John Wesley 130th anniversary, John Wesley United Methodist, one of our traditional, large, architecturally distinguished churches downtown. And I just want to comment that the spiritual energy there evident in the service was wonderful. It was a great service. I saw many people that I see in other walks of life there, and I didn't even realize that they were connected with that particular church. But I also know that spiritual energy isn't enough, and that there's an awful lot of volunteer effort, volunteer labor, and financial resources are needed to carry on with any church, especially the big downtown churches. So it is much appreciated, as we said at the service. And again, it was a very wonderful and moving event. Just briefly, the Community Coalition meeting, I think there's every indication they're willing to support a CRIS bill, but as I talked to Delegate Wilson last night, and the bill is still in the dregs of the Legislative Assembly bureaucracy being reviewed, so there isn't a copy to present at this point. So it's out there, and it's been, it's been explained generally, but we don't have the specifics yet. And last night at MML is where I saw Delegate Wilson, and he was there along with Delegate Wyville, and of course Senators Edwards and Serafini were both there. So a majority of the delegation, legislative delegation, was in attendance, and that was the theme of the meeting, presenting MML's initiatives for this upcoming General Assembly to our delegation and to the other chapter members in Washington County, and tried to get across our justifications and get the support of our local delegation. So That was the theme of the meeting, and many of us participated in doing that presentation.
Thank you for representing well, Councilmember Brubaker. Mr. Metzner?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to wish everybody a very happy and peaceful Thanksgiving, and I would like to say what we all should be happy for, but I have to say Councilmember Nye's invocation, I think, did a wonderful job of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Munson?
Thank you, Mayor. Last Thursday evening, I represented the mayor and city council at the retirement dinner of the director of the Hagerstown Office of the Social Services, David Engel. There were over 200 people who came to his retirement dinner, and David was well honored, as he should have been. He spent, I think it was 41 years in the system, and I'm sure he regrets leaving it, but he told me it was time. And it was a great evening. I presented a certificate on behalf of the mayor and city council to David. And I too would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Ms. Nye?
I'll have everything next Tuesday. Today's been a trying day. I got through the prayer and that was good.
All right, well, we thank you for that. And I'll just extend my thanks again to Council Members Nye and Brubaker for attending the event at John Wesley United Methodist Church, because I was not able to attend this weekend. And I also wanted to thank Councilmember Alshire for, and his children, for bringing in the holiday spirit here in Hagerstown and doing the tree lighting along with Santa on the square last Friday. And I just wanted to also thank our acting chief, Kiefer, for his work recently with what has been called a juvenile call-in. There was a day last week where, or 2 days actually, one evening, I think it was last Monday, he spent at the Robert W. Johnson Community Center with folks in the neighborhood there. And the whole point was to really, again, make these connections between our youth and the police officers that they may encounter in their neighborhoods, but also to give them some hope for the future. The Antietam Academy also hosted what they call a juvenile call-in for parents and students, and had the acclaimed motivational speaker Victor Woods there to give a moving presentation. So I attended that last week. And I just think it's really good to see the connection that our police department is making with the youth in the community, and to help prevent them from going down the wrong path. So I want to thank him and all the other HPD staff that were involved in that. Do want to thank staff. I guess I saw the new trash and recycling containers out on the street, and I loved them. So I want to thank everybody involved in making that happen. Wanted to also make sure folks knew that the next pop-up shop event will be coming up on the weekend of December 12th and 13th. That's also the second Saturday event that has been occurring, so it'll coincide with that. And let's see, the other thing is that registration will begin this Friday for the Hub City 100 Miler 2016. So this will be the third year for the Hub City 100 Miler. Registration starts on Friday the 27th, but the event will run from January 7th through April 15th. The whole idea is to have at least 100 days with at least a mile of activity every day. There's all kinds of prizes, weekly prizes, grand prizes, and I want to thank Meritus and the Board of Education for coming on as partners this year and really getting even more people involved in this healthy community effort. And the only other comment I had was to also wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully everybody has safe travels if they're going out of town.
Mayor, can I add a post?
Yes, sir,
John
please.
Wesley. I do have the commemorative booklet, very nicely done, with history and activities and other things about the church, and the bulletin for the service.
May I take a look?
I'm gonna put them out in the council
Okay,
room.
sure. Thank you. Any other comments? Moving on to the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the approval of minutes as presented. The mayor and council meetings held on October 6th, October 13th, and October 20th, of course, 2015.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Munson, seconded by Mr. Metzner. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The minutes are approved. The next item is the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move the consent agenda will be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Metzner, seconded by Mr. Munson. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The motion is passed. The consent agenda is approved. The first item under unfinished business is the approval of an ordinance amending the Hagerstown Police and Fire Employees Retirement Plan.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move to approve an ordinance to amend the City of Hagerstown Police and Fire Employees Retirement Plan in order to reflect changes in the Heroes Earnings Assistance and Relief Tax Act of 2008. This amendment addresses special benefits for qualified military service.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Metzner, seconded by Mr. Munson. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. The ordinance is approved. Item B is the approval of an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Hagerstown, Chapter 64, Building Construction, update and correct a reference to the applicable International Energy Conservation Code.
Mayor, hereby move the mayor and city council adopt an ordinance to amend chapter 64, building construction of the city code to update and correct all references to the applicable International Energy Conservation Code, to reference the 2015 edition to comply with the state of Maryland building performance standards and the requirements therein. This code will become effective for building permit applications received after December 25th, 2015.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Brubaker, seconded by Mr. Metzner. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. The ordinance is approved. Under new business, the first item is a memorandum of understanding with the Washington County Child Advocacy Center.
Mr. Mayor, hereby move for mayor and council approve a resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding between the City of Hagerstown and the Washington County Child Advocacy Center. The CAC provides services to the children of Washington County who are victims of sexual or serious physical abuse. The Hagerstown Police Department assigns a detective to this facility to handle city cases. This MOU is consistent with our current practices in this area.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Alshire, seconded by Mr. Brubaker. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0, and the resolution is approved. Item B, under new business, is the approval of a resolution with a lease agreement, Alavo Energy Storage Systems.
I think we need to make it clear that it's the approval of the resolution and the lease agreement.
The resolution is the lease agreement, and then the next item is the tax exemption. And
I
there's-
understand that, but
Right.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council approve the attached resolution and lease agreement with ESS Basel Project Limited Liability Company for the purpose of installation of an energy storage system located at the Hagerstown Light Department's Fairground Substation. The initial term of the agreement is 10 years and contains provisions for 2 5-year extensions if mutually agreed upon. The Hagerstown Light Department shall receive $2,000 per month for the term of the agreement.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Metzger, seconded by Mr. Munson. Any
And Mr.
discussion?
Mayor, if I could just make one comment.
Go ahead.
This is very high-tech stuff that we're doing with regard to this and, and a few other motions that will be made. And I think it's going to help the future of Hagerstown as a potential high-tech place.
Any other discussion?
Will be known as the Big Battery.
That's right.
yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The motion carries 5-0. The resolution and the lease agreement are approved. Item C is the approval of a resolution for the tax exemption for Alavo Energy Storage Systems at Fairground Substation.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council approve the attached resolution, which will provide a limited tax exemption to the applicable city personal property tax due from ESS Fairground Project LLC in connection with the project for a period of 5 years.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Munson, seconded by Mr. Brubaker. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0, and the resolution is approved. Next item, item D, is the approval of a resolution for and lease agreement with Levo Energy Systems Storage at Waso Boulevard.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move the mayor and city council approve the attached resolution and lease agreement with ESS Vasel Project Limited Liability Company for the purpose of the installation of an energy storage system located at the Hagerstown Light Department's Vasel substation. The initial term of the agreement is 10 years and contains provisions for 2 5-year extensions if mutually agreed upon. The Hagerstown Light Department shall receive $3,000 per month for the term of the agreement.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Metzner and seconded by Mr. Brubaker. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0, and the resolution lease agreement is approved. Item E is the approval of a resolution for the tax exemption for Levo Energy Storage Systems at Vasel Substation.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council approve the attached resolution, which will provide a limited tax exemption to the applicable city personal property tax due from ESS Vasel Project LLC in connection with the project for a period of 5 years.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Motion made by Mr. Brubaker and seconded by Mr. Munson.
May I make one comment, Mr.
Please,
Mayor?
go ahead.
These projects that we've just approved, I think there are 4 of them here, has the potential to bring, if I recall correctly, 35 jobs to the area, and they will probably be well-paying jobs. So I think our staff, who has been working a very long time on this, deserves to be recognized and given kudos for their good work.
Agreed. Thank you very much, staff, for all the hard work you put into this. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Resolution carries 5-0. And the next item is the item F, the approval of a bulk road salt purchase.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval of the bulk road salt purchase for the city operations from Mid-Atlantic Salt LLC. The bid price is $73.90 per ton. The budget estimate for this expense is $123,000. The contract was competitively bid by the Washington County government to obtain a better bulk rate for Washington County government and the city of Hagerstown.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Nye, seconded by Mr. Munson. Any
Mr. Mayor?
discussion? Yes, sir.
Does this mean winter's coming?
It sure does. And I think this is a great example of the city and county cooperating for the betterment of all of our taxpayers. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries and the purchase is approved. Item G is the approval of a bulk diesel fuel purchase.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval of the bulk diesel fuel purchase for city operations from Cato Inc. The bid price is $1.5425 per gallon. Estimated annual cost of diesel fuel is $187,581 based on an estimated annual use of 100,000 gallons. Contract was competitively bid by the Washington County government to obtain a better bulk rate for Washington County government, the Board of Education, and the city of Hagerstown.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Brubaker, seconded by Mr. Munson. Any discussion?
Boy, compare that to what you pay at the station.
Although the price is coming down.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The motion carries and the purchase is approved. Next up is the approval of bulk gasoline purchase.
Mr. Mayor, hereby move for mayor and council approval of the bulk gasoline purchase for city operations from Mansfield Oil Company. The bid price is 1.4691 per gallon. The estimated annual cost of gasoline is $244,107 based on an estimated annual use of 136,000 gallons. The contract was competitively bid by the Washington County government to obtain a better bulk rate. The Washington County government, the Board of Education, the City of Hagerstown.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Alshire, seconded by Mr. Metzner. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. The motion carries 5-0. The purchase is approved. The next item is the approval of the utilities bulk chemical purchase.
Mayor, hereby move the mayor and city council approve the expenditure of $583,196 of wastewater division funds and the expenditure of $660,335 of water division funds for the purchase of bulk chemicals. This approval is based on unit cost of each chemical and the estimated quantities. Actual cost will be determined by the actual chemical purchased and could be more or less than the total stated herein. Purchases will occur in the second half of fiscal year 16, first half of fiscal year 17. The chemicals which are used in the treatment processes employed by the divisions were bid through the city-county joint bidding process utilizing county bid PUR-1296.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Brubaker and seconded by Mr. Metzner. I just wanted to mention that there was a minor error on the agenda where the water and wastewater were flipped. So it's the wastewater division, that's $583,196, and the water division was $660,335. So just wanted
The
to make
motion is
that.
correct. but
The motion is correct,
agenda's wrong,
but I
motion's
just
correct.
wanted to point that minor error in the agenda. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The purchase is approved. Next item, item J, the approval of purchase of light department bucket truck.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council approve the purchase of a 60-foot reach height material handling bucket truck mounted on a 2017 Freightliner M20106 chassis from Altech Industries Incorporated, Plains, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $225,673. The annual number 508-5001-5840-C0090 has $250,000 in, budgeted, that is, in fiscal year 16.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Munson, seconded by Mr. Metzner. Any discussion?
So, you know, there was a time when November and December came out and then new cars came out, and we're already purchasing a 2017 Freightliner. It's very fascinating in 2015.
They're just still rolling off the assembly line, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The purchase is approved. Next item is the approval of the payment to Blackwell 2 LLC for the USMH Student Housing Project, Catalyst Project Number 3.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the mayor and city council to authorize the payment of $100,000 to Blackwell 2 LLC as stipulated by the development agreement for completion of the USMH Student Housing Project at 100 North Potomac Street. The payment will consist of $10,547 from the Economic Redevelopment Fund and $89,453 from proceeds of the 11 through 16 Public Square sale held within the Property Management Fund. This is the first model student housing project under Catalyst Project 3, USMH expansion support.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Nye and seconded by Mr. Munson. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say this is a great step forward, and the mayor and city council and our staff have worked very, very hard to get to this point.
Indeed. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries and the payment is approved. Last item, the approval of acceptance of community-oriented policing services hiring grant.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval of the grant awarded by the police department to the Department of Justice Community-Oriented Policing Services, COPS Herring Program. The city portion of the matching grant estimated to be $239,461.51, spread over a 3-year period along with 1-year retention requirement of an estimated $258,536.91 for the 4th year. This grant would allow for the increase of 4 police officers, raising the sworn strength of the police department from 108 to 112 officers in the current fiscal year. It is estimated that the 4-year cost to the city for the 4 officers will be $497,998.42.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Nye, seconded by Mr. Metzner. Any discussion?
Just a brief comment. This is the third item this evening that we have had before us for approval for our public safety personnel, both fire and police. I would note the first one was consent item for equipment purchases. It honors the contracts that we have obligated ourselves to for those union personnel to provide them their necessary additional equipment. The second item was for enhancements to the retirement packages for our public safety personnel. It enhances those retirement packages, recognizing the service that they provide to us, both here and away in their duties. And the third here this evening is to meet the call of adding necessary additional manpower to meet their obligations to serve the public. So when folks out there within our community are told that this mayor and council does not honor our commitment and obligation to our public safety personnel and its union membership, our actions clearly speak differently than those assertions.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
I would like to thank Kristen for those comments. That was well presented, Kristen. Also, I would like to thank Acting Chief Kiefer for working so vigorously to obtain this grant. I would agree that more police officers aren't the entire answer to the crime problem, but they're sure a big step in the right direction. So thank you.
Oh, and
While we're in the comments, Mr. Mayor, these officers, my understanding, are being hired as part of the community policing program versus special enforcement downtown or something else. But more importantly, it needs to be said over and over again in our community about our police department. Before I left here tonight, the breaking news on all the national news channels was the video of the travesty in Chicago being released involving the situation that you don't even discuss. Those are not situations we have in Hagerstown. And that's one of the reasons I mentioned community policing, because our police force interacts with our citizens. Our police force treats the citizens as the people that they are serving and protecting. And I just want to commend our acting chief and our prior chiefs and our department for having that kind of professionalism here. And I look forward to continue into the future. And again, I thank you, Chief, and I thank everybody that's responsible for that kind of professionalism here.
Yes, sir.
There were a lot of comments that, how could the mayor say that it was safe to be in downtown Hagerstown when we were in the process of hiring more police as part of the academic hub. I won't dignify it with debate, but people expressing concerns about it. And I just feel that we have I don't feel, it's a fact, that our crime rate has been, for violent crime, has been comparable to places where everybody goes, Annapolis and Frederick. That's the fact. Some years it's a little higher, some years a little better, but that's a fact. But the perception here, hounded by many, many people, is very different. So we're hiring more police. It's going to cost us an average of $125,000 a year for 4 policemen, so that is a good deal for 4 years. And I sure hope that things turn around so that we can continue to afford those policemen when those 4 years are up. But we need, we're making every effort to make the public feel welcome and safe in Hagerstown, which again is just as safe as Annapolis or Frederick.
Thanks. Any other discussion?
I just want everybody to remember that of the ones that they're saying that we have as police officers, it is not that many officers that are on the street. That's where everybody gets the mixed signals from. Shift-wise, we can have anywhere from 6 to 8 per shift. Then we overlap. That would be, the downtown is getting more than most of the area. That's probably 44 total of police officers that are on the street. This would be all day. And then you go to your detectives and you go to your other ones like the task force. So people have to realize that it's not all of 108 that we've got crawling all over the street. We're not lucky enough to have that. And I guess if we did have that, people would really say we really did have a problem. But that's the understanding that the public does not get, because there was a lady who sent something back in feedback that was towards the mayor, and I had to say to my husband, but she's not getting all of it, she doesn't understand. So I don't know how better to put it out there, but it's not an exaggeration that we have that many, it's just that we do not have that many that is on the street at one time.
Any other discussion? The motion made by Ms. Nye and seconded by Mr. Metzner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. And the approval, the acceptance of the grant is approved. If there is nothing else for the good of the cause, Mr.
Mr.
Munson?
Mayor, if I could make a comment before we adjourn.
Please.
I should have done this during council comments a few minutes ago.
We'll
but I
forgive you
didn't.
this time, Mr. Munson.
A moment ago, Councilman Brubaker raised the issue of the education hub. There was a company, a private company in Hagerstown this week, and I can't remember the name of it, if you can help me out, who did a video with regard to downtown Hagerstown and how good a place it is. And when I saw that article, I was really pleased to see that article, and I thank them, and I know I'm doing that on behalf of the mayor and city council for that video. They did it on their own. The city didn't ask them to do it. It reminded me that I think it's important again to remind our viewers of how significant the project of the education hub is to downtown Hagerstown, and indeed to the students of Washington County. Now, Frederick County, the mayor mentioned this a week or so ago, Frederick County is building a new high school, or wants to build a new high school, West Frederick. And that school is going to cost $115 million, $115 million. And one day this week I saw a letter to the editor, or a comment in the newspaper, saying we shouldn't do work on the art school here because of the costs. But it's not going to be too many years, Mr. Mayor, before this county is going to have to face a prospect of spending $115 million on a new high school. But if the county commissioners, and I want to reiterate, the county commissioners step up and do the right thing, we can put that day off for probably 10 years. if the county commissioners step up and do the right thing and provide $15 million for the completion, essentially, the project of the School for the Arts downtown, the education hub, we can delay spending an extra $100 million for perhaps a decade. And I think it's very valuable for the citizens of Hagerstown and Washington County to understand that by completing the project, the education hub in downtown, we can save money for a very, very long time. I hope that message is getting through to the public. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anything else for the good of the cause? All right, well, we'll be adjourned, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.